What is truth?
I am. My kingdom is not of this world. Everyone on the side of the truth listens to me.
He understood our weakness.
Are you ready for the exciting sequel to Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ? While the first film rocked the world back in 2004, stirring up both love and controversy, this new installment promises even more drama. The Passion of the Christ, directed by Mel Gibson and released in 2004, stands as one of the most controversial and talked about films in cinematic history. Depicting the final hours of Jesus Christ's life, the film is visceral and unflinching portrayal of the events leading up to his crucifixion. From its inception, The Passion of the Christ sparked intense debate and scrutiny due to its graphic depiction of violence, religious themes, and perceived historical accuracy. At its core, the film aims to immerse viewers in the profound suffering endured by Jesus during his crucifixion, making it a cornerstone of the Christian faith. Mel Gibson's approach to the material is unapologetically raw and uncompromising, as he sought to authentically capture the brutality and anguish of Christ's crucifixion. Through striking imagery and visceral storytelling, Gibson transports audiences through the streets of Jerusalem, inviting them to witness the harrowing events leading to Jesus' ultimate sacrifice. Central to the film's controversy is its portrayal of violence. The Passion of the Christ features scenes of extreme brutality, with Jesus subjected to relentless beatings, scourging, and crucifixion. While some praised Gibson for his commitment to realism and historical accuracy, others condemned the film for its excessive and gratuitous violence. Critics argued that the graphic nature of the scenes risked desensitizing audiences and overshadowing the film's spiritual message. In addition to its portrayal of violence, The Passion of the Christ faced criticism for its depiction of Jewish characters and their role in Jesus' death. Some viewers accused the film of perpetuating anti-Semitic stereotypes by portraying Jewish leaders as complicit in Jesus' crucifixion. This controversy led to discussions about the responsibility of filmmakers to accurately represent religious narratives without reinforcing harmful prejudices. Despite its controversies, The Passion of the Christ achieved unprecedented success at the box office, becoming one of the highest-grossing R-rated films of all time. Its impact extended beyond the realm of cinema, sparking debates about faith, art, and the intersection of religion and popular culture. The film's release ignited passionate discussions among theologians, historians, and audiences worldwide, highlighting the enduring power of religious narratives to provoke reflection and dialogue. Well, get ready because there's a sequel in the works. It's gonna pick up where the first one left off, following the story from the Bible and some other writings. Since the first movie did so well, it's no surprise that they're thinking about making it into a whole series. But the big question is, can they capture lightning in a bottle twice? Will the new movie be as big a hit with the same crowd? After 20 years of waiting and talking, they finally confirmed it. Filming is set to start in spring 2023. Jim Caviezel, the main actor, spilled the beans back in September 2020, saying that they've got the script all ready to go. He even thinks it could be the biggest movie ever made. Mel Gibson and Randall Wallace teamed up to write the script, and Wallace has been into the idea of a sequel since 2016. Get ready for more drama and inspiration coming our way. Hey, have we ever thought about what happened after the events in The Passion of the Christ? The story isn't over yet. The evangelical community who loved the first movie is super excited for the sequel. IMDb even hinted that it might come out in 2024, but you know how things can change in the movie world. Speaking of the first movie, did you know it was released on Ash Wednesday back in 2004? Pretty cool, right? Now let's talk about the cast for the new movie. The big news is that Jim Caviezel is coming back to play Jesus again. He's been up to all sorts of stuff since the first movie, like appearing in Outlander and Person of Interest, but now he's back to bring Jesus to life once more. He's been talking about the sequel since 2020, so it's great to see it finally coming together. Some familiar faces from the original movie, which is now 20 years old, are coming back for the sequel. Maya Morgenstern, who you might remember from The Seventh Room, is returning to play Mary, Jesus' mom, and Francesco DeVito, who was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., is back as Peter, one of Jesus' closest followers. There's even talk that Krzysztof Zhivkov might come back to play John, but nothing confirmed yet. As for Monica Bellucci and Rosalinda Celentano, who played Magdalene and Satan, we're not sure if they'd be back. Now let's talk about the story of The Passion of the Christ 2. It's going to pick up right where the first movie left off, focusing on what happened during the 3 days between Jesus' death and resurrection. You know, that time when Christians believe Jesus went to hell before coming back to life? The movie is going to explore that period in detail, digging into parts of the story that aren't spelt out in the Bible. So in the new movie, The Passion of the Christ 2, they're going to include some scenes inspired by sources other than the Bible. They're looking at visions from the Catholic figures like Mary of Agreda and Catherine Emmerich. One of these visions, called the Harrowing of Hell, shows Jesus going down to hell, breaking it apart, and fighting against the devil. Now, this part of the story isn't talked about much in the Bible, so it stirred up some debate among Christians. Some people are cool with it, but others have mixed feelings, especially evangelicals. Now, let's dive into a couple of controversies. First up, there's the whole thing about historical and biblical accuracy. Some folks have argued that the first movie didn't stick strictly to the historical facts of what went down in Jesus' time, but then again, others say that wasn't the main focus anyway. So here's a scoop on the accuracy of the Passion of the Christ. Mark Gooddager, a Bible expert, pointed out that Mel Gibson never actually said the movie was 100% true to history. Like, remember those scenes with Judas getting hassled by demons and Satan carrying a creepy baby? They weren't in the Bible, but Gibson said that they were good to show how evil messes with what's good. Now, when folks ask if the movie followed the New Testament exactly, Father Augustine Duya from the Vatican said it's not like a documentary, but it stays true to the main story from all 4 Gospels. So while it's not a play-by-play of history, it sticks to the heart of the Bible's message. Like A.O. Scott from the New York Times said it felt like the movie was more about making you feel shocked than inspired, and David Edelstein from Slate called it a super intense gore fest, comparing it to horror movies. He said Mel Gibson seemed more interested in showing the violence than the message of Jesus. And in 2008, Michael Gunna from American Atheist said it was a mainstream snuff film, but not everyone saw it that way. Armand White had a different take on it. So let's hear what Armand White had to say about all the violence in The Passion of the Christ. He understood that violence is a big draw in movies these days, but he thought Mel Gibson's take was different. Instead of just glorifying revenge like some movies do, Armand thought that The Passion challenged people to really think about violence and how it affects them personally. Now, a lot of the criticism about the violence in the movie was that it was just too much. People felt like it focused too heavily on how brutal Jesus' crucifixion was, maybe even taking away from the religious stuff it was trying to say. But when Mel Gibson talked about it in an interview with Diane Sawyer, he explained his reasons. He said he wanted the movie to shock people, to make them see what Jesus went through. Even though it was tough to watch, he wanted folks to understand the huge sacrifice Jesus made and how he still showed love and forgiveness. Gibson knew the real crucifixion was even worse than what they showed in the movie, but he thought going all the way might not get the message across the right way. The Passion of the Christ is a film that continues to evoke strong emotions and generate diverse interpretations. Mel Gibson's portrayal of the final hours of Jesus Christ's life is lauded by some for its dedication to historical and religious authenticity. The movie's graphic depiction of Christ's suffering and crucifixion is seen by supporters as a powerful representation of the sacrifice central to Christian theology. However, criticism has also been directed at the film for its extreme violence and perceived anti-Semitic undertones. Some argue that the portrayal of Jewish characters and their involvement in Jesus' death perpetuates harmful stereotypes. Despite these controversies, the film's impact on audiences cannot be denied. It has sparked discussions about faith, redemption, and the nature of suffering. For many, The Passion of the Christ serves as a reminder of the enduring power of religious narratives and their ability to provoke reflection and debate. Ultimately, individuals' conclusions about the film are influenced by personal beliefs, cultural background, and interpretations of its artistic and thematic merits. So share your opinions in the comments below. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, see you all.